Welcome and thanks for joining. Today we're going to talk a little bit about relationships with multiple lists. And in fact, what we're doing is we're collecting information from one list that governs this list right here, a variable that we collect from another screen, governs this list right here, which is also provided with input from this list here, which gives us sorts, basically says, hey, I just want questions related to those things. Can you just give me those questions? And then when we select them, it automatically populates down here so that we can run a save action, input additional information, and run a save action here. So lots of things going on. 3 different lists. Actually, pretty easy. We're going to walk through this step by step with instructions here so that if you get lost on the video instruction, you can see exactly what I'm doing. So stay tuned and we're going to jump right to it. Okay, so the first list that we really need to look at is this first gallery right here, and you can see the code right here, set var edit task 3. This could be any variable name, by the way. Set that to this item, meaning that it's this item that gets selected right here. So we have a screen that searches for a number. Let me just show you what that screen is here. So we have a screen that searches for a specific number. Okay, so here, for example, I can search for any number within these properties. When I select this right here, what happens is this action right here, set var task item. So you can see that. So I'm going to select this, and then it'll navigate over to where I want it to. And we can check that variable to make sure it's there by going right here to our global variables, search text, and you can see which variable it is that's captured inside. Now, why is it so important to understand that var edit task 3 is useful and important to this operation? Because when you look at it, we're using it in many different screens because it is the primary variable that links all of the lists together. So let's take a look. It's probably easier just to look at them here. Here are the 3 lists that are being used. Notice here you have property ID at the very top. Here, this is just a question and answer list. So we don't need the property ID because we're not storing information in it. But notice there, the second value here, property ID. So we're actually pulling this information from this list called property ID so we can easily edit that. And then we're putting that same information, I'm sorry, when I click there, the second there, you can see where it says property ID right there. That then transfers the information from the variable and puts into that data into the second list. So I know I've kind of talked a little bit in circles, so let's start from the beginning again. Here we collect this information right here. Done. Now we need to edit that information. So we need to be able to provide an edit of all of that information so that we can begin to save in this new gallery. I'm going to show you this gallery in a minute. So the edit occurs here. We need to collect information first of all. So let's just say ads and marketing. When you click on there, notice there's 4 questions there. You go to key control. Notice here there are multiple questions. And when we select one of those questions, notice the category changes there. Right? So curb appeal, category changes. The question is blank because we haven't selected anything yet. And there is the question. So as we do that, we're actually pulling information right here. We're taking information from this list, PM question, which is right here, this list. We're taking information from the category, see it right there, category. We're pulling that information and putting it in here. And we're using a distinct command to keep it distinct. Then we're taking and saying this, because these are cascading lists, cascading combo boxes. We're actually saying, okay, anything that equals curb appeal, now give me that. So that's what we do there. And see another video I have on cascading boxes. But the key here that we're focused on today is this information here at the bottom inside of a gallery. So let's take a look and see what that looks like from a technology here. Where are we? Oops, daisy. So we're going to go right into that gallery, which is gallery number 2. And you can see there are 6 entries in there. These are text fields, pretty simple, just simple text, right? Where you see text equals that. They're just things to help the user. But now let's take a look at the data that we actually have within these fields. So the first one is curb appeal. So that is, we're actually pulling from this selected value here, and we're pulling that directly in. That's all we have to do is just say, hey, tell me what eventually gets selected here. And the same thing occurs to here. Tell me what gets selected from here. When we look at those, see combo cat 2, see combo quest 2. So it's pulling the data directly that we need. Now, when this gets saved, do you notice that the field is called text canvas and text canvas 2? We should actually change those fields. Let's just change those to text, and we're just going to say curb, whoops, not curb, category. So let's see if there's already one in there. There isn't. Text category. This text is text, and this is the question. So we're going to say question. So now that's what the text fields are. When we do our save action, right, when we say, okay, we're going to save this information back into the list, which is the gallery, which happens to be PM Site Journal. When we want to save all this information into PM Site Journal, remember, look at PM Site Journal. Do you see how it has answer, it has question, it has right at the very top there, property ID. So I don't have property ID on here yet, but we'll put it on together. And it has answer, see answer right there. So this data right here is the answer, the current answer that's sitting within the list so that we can edit it. And if it's blank, then we will just add information. And when we hit save using the patch command, it will save all of this information back into this gallery, which is PM Site Journal, which is right here. Okay, so that's how we're taking information. And let's just put in the ID here real quick. We'll just copy this and paste it. Okay, and we'll put the ID, I don't know, right here. So we can just click on this. Whoops, click on that bad boy. We can put prop ID right there. Okay, prop ID. And then here, we can tell it what property ID we want it. Now, we could tell it to get the property ID from the list that is this gallery, which happens to be this list, PM Site Journal. Or we can tell it to get it from the variable. So if we say var edit task 3, and we put that down, now there's multiple things in that variable, so we're going to tell it what we want, which happens to be the property ID, and it will give us the 3020. If this record does not exist, so if we're adding this record into this list, we're going to want the property ID. So when we hit save, it's going to save all this information that we transferred from the question list, and then this one is from the property ID list, question list, property ID list. It's going to transfer, and then this is information that we put in, right, during the experience with this screen. All of this information is going to automatically get saved. Okay, so it's pretty easy to do this when you work. Looks like it just messed it up though. So we'll have to go back and troubleshoot that. But it's pretty easy to do, to move the information from one list or from multiple lists and kind of correlate it down into a single list. So good luck.